Hello and welcome on into Classic Pro Wrestling with the WFIA podcast. I am Chris DeCarlo, the Vice President of the WFIA. Underneath me is the man with class, Mike the Class DiGregorio from Rhode Island. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Chris, everybody.
Hey.
In the corner to my left, as always, he is not only the player, he is the podcast host, producer, WFIA board member, the one and only Mr. Benny Scala.
Glad to be here, as always.
And underneath Benny is our special friend, co-host, supposedly today, but guest, historian of not just Canada, but all the territories, Mr. Wes Maidment.
Hey, guys, nice to be with you all again, and looking forward to changing it up and doing what we have to do.
Yes, of course. We are live right now on the Player Entertainment Network on YouTube. And Benny, where else are we live right now?
We are not live on Want Radio. They do have a show tonight, but tomorrow night at 7:05 Eastern Time, we will be on Radio WANT. They got what you want.
Awesome. And within 24 hours, this show will be downloaded, uploaded to Spotify for everybody to check out. First, a little WFIA business. You can go to the WFIA.org. We have a t-shirt like is behind me for sale, coffee mugs. Also, we want everybody out there, of course, to join the WFIA and be a member. It is $50 per calendar year. So if you join in September, your next dues will be due next year, September. You will get a 10% discount off anything in the store, like the t-shirt behind me. Also, you will get a monthly newsletter via email, and hopefully we can have an in-person convention in 2027 for the 60th anniversary of the WFIA. And first, guys, I promised a quick shout-out plug for this book. Was one of my son's former special education teacher, and is it entitled God Still Speaks, A Mother's Journey After the Loss of Her Son, by Mrs. Gina Carbon. It is available on Amazon.com for $9.99. Please consider it. Check it out for her. And guys, classic pro wrestling is what we love, live for, enjoy. And this week we were supposed to have Princess Victoria, but she's running late or may not be able to join us. Hopefully we'll get her back in the near future. But for now, we will talk about a topic that everybody can relate on and remember from back in the day, of course. Wrestling ring announcers, commentators. So, Benny, why don't you start us off?
Well, as far as I go back to 1968, National Capital Wrestling from Washington, D.C., I think it's the National Arena. The announcer was Ray Morgan, who always had a cup of steaming hot coffee and a lit cigarette on the announce table. I guess back then nobody got slammed on the announce table because there was hot coffee and cigarettes. But I will be honest, I do not remember who the ring announcers were. Back then, my first recollection of a ring announcer that I remember was Joe McHugh from All Star and Championship Wrestling. And I mean, I will still I'll click on a Davey O'Hannon match just to hear Joe McHugh introduce Davey O'Hannon, and that to me is worth it alone. But there's been some great ones over the years. But yeah, Joe McHugh's he'll always be my favorite for
sure. Wes,
when we were getting WWF TV in Toronto, I really enjoyed him saying the Duke of Dorchester. That was one of my favorites.
Pete Doherty, yes,
that's right. He was an announcer for a bit, wasn't he?
And he was too, I think. Yeah.
He was actually pretty good.
Joe McHugh was different for me because he didn't seem stately, but great voice, no problem.
No, Joe McHugh looked like somebody that would be in the lounge at a bowling alley smoking a cigar or something like that.
Definitely. When I was growing up, and I do remember Ray Morgan because we used to get some sort of films every once in a while, and then when video cassettes came out. The Washington tapes were so hot from the 50s and early 60s. So we know and now with audio or video, we see YouTube, we see Ray Morgan and hear his voice. He says 2 words and you know who it is. But in Southern Ontario, we had quite a mix of different shows. So we were lucky we had Lord Layton in our local Tunney broadcast, and the ring announcer, longtime ring announcer, was Norm Kimber, who everyone here likes because we've talked about him in the past.
Yes.
We had Montreal, and they had Fernand Saint Marie, and he was fantastic because even though I could speak a bit of French back then, and Benny, we talked about speaking French in the past at a
Je parle français
establishment. Yeah, I learned a lot of French because it was 285 livres from Montreal. Here he is. That's him. C'est lui. Edouard Carpentier. And then Tarzan Tyler, of course, would come on and say Carpenter, you know,
Yeah.
even though he was French, right? We had a great guy from British Columbia, Ron Morier, who was a TV announcer, radio guy, as a lot of them were. And he was very gentlemanly, and he played the shtick just perfect. I remember watching early WWF, though, Benny. Maybe you remember this with Vince and Argentina Rocca, who was...
You know, General, I'm going to take my shoes off.
Just brutal. It was so hard to listen to him. Vince was so strong, and he knew. It's like, I don't think he was reading the script, but it certainly seemed like he knew what he was talking about 1,000,000%. But Rocca was just all over the place. It was crazy.
I remember that broadcast. Well, of course, thanks to video, I see it, and yeah, that was something else. But also Wes, which was a good territory back in. I like early '80s footage of the Calgary Stampede.
Oh, what a great story Ed Whalen is. I mean, he hosted the TV show there for, I think, 20-something years. And right from having a hairdo like mine to having a beautiful head of hair in later years, in between time and whatever his couple of his sayings were, the Calgary show was phenomenal and shot with one camera. It was really untechnical, to say the least. But Ed Whalen became so synonymous with Canadian wrestling because in the 80s they did that show Pro Wrestling Canada, I think it was, and it went right across Canada. So he became really famous, and he didn't need to do the wrestling. He was already a hockey broadcaster, and I like anyone who says they didn't like Ed Whalen. I don't know about that. I just want to bring up one name that screams to me, and I love this guy. And I've seen lots of posts putting him down, but the ECW guy, oh man,
Joey Styles.
I thought he was just fantastic. Yeah. Oh my God. Like, yeah. Oh, they just went through the roof of the building. Oh my God.
I thought he was good. I don't know why people put him down.
He was in WWE for a while. I thought he was very good.
Yeah, as a exciting guy who certainly brought a lot of excitement to the
good
TV
broadcaster.
show. Yeah.
Wes, you mentioned Lord Athol Layton. Was he? Yeah. My memory's not really going, but I very faintly remember the WCW, the IWA from Australia. Was he the announcer for that as well? He was, right?
He left. He did Cleveland, Buffalo, Detroit, Toronto. Then he left Toronto to go back to Australia for a few years.
He did. All right. So that same guy. Those. I mean, if you can catch some of those are some pretty decent shows.
Even though they're black and white footage, I wish they were color, right? I mean, there was some good shows and good matches there.
Fantastic matches of Abdullah and Brower and
Pat Patterson.
Arion,
yeah. Luna, Danucci. Danucci was like Bruno there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parisi was there. Harley Race, Flair.
All the Canadian guys went to Australia because they were part of the British Commonwealth, so they didn't have to pay the same amount of taxes as the American guys. Dewey Robertson, all the Canadian guys, especially from the Toronto area, they all hit. And you know what? It's so funny because I'm a clipping guy, so I'm always looking for new clippings. And to see some of the names that did go to Australia that you never knew about, it's bizarre. But it was everyone has to leave. Everyone has to leave their area, right? And go somewhere else to become fresh somewhere else. So Australia is a pretty good place to get away to.
I thanks for the comment, Phil, and that reminds me, I forgot in my beginning spiel that we'd like to say hello and welcome to everybody in the chat, and Benny will let us know that as he has right here. Phil says
that's
King
a
Curtis
great
interviewed
point by Phil,
Lord.
though.
Yes, I remember that interview. I could see that as well, Phil. And the local Australian hero, he went against Harley Race. Wes, his mind's losing me. His mind. Yeah, his mind. His name's Ron Miller.
Yeah.
The local Australian hero there, Ron Miller, went against Harley Race. Now that was color. But I don't know why. Why didn't he get any color footage of that back then?
There was hardly any color from Australia, yeah. And King Curtis didn't need anyone to help him because he was a great speaker. He was fantastic.
They had some manager there, big tall guy, and always wore a helmet. And for the life of me, I can't remember his name.
Big Bad John.
That's it. Yes, there you go.
But he was a wrestler too.
Yeah.
Big guy. Yeah.
Yeah, huge guy.
Now, me and Mike the Class here, growing up in Western New York, Niagara Falls, 20 minutes to Buffalo, 10 minutes over the border to Niagara Falls, Ontario, where, of course, Maple Leaf Wrestling was. And, yeah, we had Billy Red Lions on Maple Leaf Wrestling. Norm Kimber was the great ring announcer. We had Vince McMahon Jr. and Pat Patterson on the WWF TV. Bob Caudle, David Crockett on Mid-Atlantic. Of course, the Dean, Gordon Soley from Florida, and the AWA at the time was Roger Kent, and then it went to Ron Trongard.
That's Trongard, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what we got here in Western New York. But seeing all these territories, right, over the years now, and we have great shows about the territory days. Some great, not only announcers and commentators on those shows, but the quality of matches. If you go back and even watch a Portland show, Mid-South show, we talk about what quality matches they had in less than an hour on those TV shows back, in the early 80s, where it's like a pay-per-view match today.
Well, I mean, look at Memphis, right? Every Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum. And they didn't have a creative team. I mean, their creative team was what? Lawler and Jerry Jarrett, maybe. And yet they kept those angles coming, and they kept that place pretty well packed for years. Every Monday night. I mean, I can't imagine as a fan now being able to get up and go see wrestling matches on Monday night at an affordable price. But that's what you had growing up in Memphis, or even Tampa every Tuesday.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, it's just amazing. Even to get a ticket now, I read somewhere at one of the like a WrestleMania front row they said something about $100,000 for a seat.
That's insane.
Yeah, for a front row seat. Now, back in the day, it wouldn't have been nowhere near that amount, even for a WrestleMania ticket.
When you're taking out home equity loans to go see wrestling matches, something's wrong there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. One of the guys that I really liked was Howard Finkel. I thought he had a perfect voice for it.
Yes.
Back in the 80s.
Very
I know
good.
He long time. But I do remember him, and also one of the first female, I believe, was Mike McCurk.
Mike McCurk.
Wasn't she was the first? Yeah, she wasn't bad. I mean, at the time, it seems like now the voices that they have for WWE are kind of almost similar, though, the ones that they have. I mean, I thought like they had Justin Roberts, who wasn't too bad, and he's actually, I believe, he still announces for AEW. He wasn't too bad either. I mean, is a more modern announcer, but. Yeah, but to me, it was Howard Finkel. I remember him the most growing up.
That deep Madison Square Garden voice. But guys, if you remember, of course, I have on video with my collection. The Fink did commentary, guys, on a Meadowlands card from '84 with Gorilla Monsoon, and Gary Michael Capetta did the ring announcing that night for that card. Yes, it was very interesting to hear the Fink and Monsoon call the whole card.
Wow. I think I went to a show in Buffalo, and I think Capetta did the announcing there. I'm not sure, like a house show, but no, it wouldn't have been because that was the NWA show.
Amen, Jason.
Yeah, that's right, Jason. Geez, I mean, when I eventually started going to wrestling live, I had a good job, and I was single, and it was okay. I didn't have a problem paying $6 for a ringside at Maple Leaf Gardens, and they were basically readily available. You could walk up and get a ringside seat. So, I mean, sometimes you were lucky if you got to stand beside the ramp, which was great because it was great for taking pictures. But if you're on the other side, oh well, you're still on ringside, you're still up close, and $6 was at the time, even say 1980. So yeah, that's 45 years ago, but still $6 was no problem for me. I wouldn't want to have to take a family, but I heard $70,000, Mike. That's what I heard the other day, and it's like
I heard that too coming up for next year.
$70,000 just to get your face on TV, maybe.
Well, there's
nosebleeds.
They show this guy that's on there, and he's all over the internet. They call him the green shirt guy. And I read somewhere where he actually pays for the tickets. I don't know what he does for a living, but they have some kind of loyalty program that WWE does that directly sells these tickets automatically to these certain individuals that pay. Obviously, if they're going to pay for the ticket, you can't sit there and deny it. But that one of the tickets was $100,000 that he paid for.
Wow. So maybe
we thought, a lot of people thought that he worked for the WWE. Nobody seems to know, but they show him on there, and then they show this guy with a Trinidad and Tobago shirt on that's there often too, alongside this guy.
Okay.
And they're regulars. They're almost there, and this guy's been going to the pay-per-views for the last 10 years. The one that they show in the green shirt all the time at the current PLEs, 10 years worth. So can you imagine the amount of money spent?
Damn.
It's astronomical to me.
I will say to my dying breath that wrestling was meant to be a blue collar sport. And
yeah.
You shouldn't be, when your kid says, "Daddy, can you take me to the wrestling match?" You shouldn't have to say, "I can't afford it." I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's like, we're coming up on NFL starting tonight, and West, of course, our local Buffalo Bills here in Western New York start Sunday night, NFL Sunday Night Football on NBC against the Ravens from last year in Highmark Stadium before they get to the new stadium. But imagine those tickets.
Sabres, they're going up.
Buffalo Sabres tickets, concerts. Can't even do that.
Yeah.
I don't even know how much the wrestling wants, even for go to Raw in Buffalo. I don't even know how much it is.
We there's some independents in Winnipeg, and they're not regular, like it's not once a month or anything, but they play in bars or small community center kind of things. So it's $20 to get in, and I pay my $20 because I'm not going for the show. I'm going to talk to people. I'm talking to friends, talk to the wrestlers, maybe get an interview or something, just to go and shoot the breeze, gladly give the $20 to the promoter and whatever.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, truthfully, me paying, and I'm cheap, but I mean, I got it. Like $100 for a ticket, I wouldn't go.
All right, now, Tom Jones here, most underrated manager, George Crybaby Buchanan, don't toy with my emotions. Yes, Tom, thanks for that comment and being with us tonight. Yes, he was a manager in the IWA in the 70s. Before that or after that, he wrestled, and then he hosted a show out of Canada, right, Russ?
Yeah, Superstars of Wrestling, and George was. Everyone says he was a great guy. His shows were a little tiny bit below level of production wise, but it was still professional heavyweight wrestling, so we take it as it is. I like George Cannon. I thought he was great when he was managing the Kangaroos. That was the second Kangaroos after Benny Your Kangaroos that you would have seen at Madison Square Gardens, right?
Right.
Costello and Ray
Heffernan, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, he wrestled. He managed the Mongols, their IWA. That was a great team, of course. And who was he in? He was in the ring against. I got it, but I can't come to my head right now. I wasn't Jerry Blackwell, but it was somebody of his.
Haystack Calhoun. They had a.
There we go. Haystack Calhoun. You're right.
And there's a famous picture from the magazines back in the day of Bobo Brazil headbutting George Cannon from California when they were both out there.
Yeah, totally agree with you there, Jason. Thanks for the comment and being with us tonight.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous to go see the WWE. I don't even know about AEW, but Cannon had Sailor White in his promotion as a top guy. Yeah, which was one of the Moondogs, right, Wes?
Yeah, one of the first Moondogs, but got banned from the States.
Really?
That's right. Right? Wasn't that right during their title reign in the WWF?
It was. They already had the belts, and they had to get a new Moondog.
Wow.
So there was Rex, Spot, and King.
Yeah.
81, 82, yeah.
Ralph, John, Tony, Sam, Pete the Moondog, Mike the Moondog, Chris the Moondog, Benny the Moondog, and Wes the Moondog.
Well, and then, you know, if you wanted to talk about that, of course, one of probably, the Machines in 86, 87, right? We had, which was the Masked Superstar, obviously Andre the Giant as the Giant Machine, and then which really, to tell you the truth, I didn't know until like within the past 10 years that the Super Machine was Blackjack Mulligan under the mask.
Yeah.
I think at one point they had the Steel Machine, which was George Steele.
Yeah, they had the Crusher Machine. They brought back the Crusher from the AWA. It just, I mean, I love the masks. I love that the masks were cool, super cool, but it was eventually this stuff has just becomes stupid.
Right. It was, you know, tried to fooling it again, like Hulk Hogan as Mr. America in the early 2000s. I mean, come on. There you're reaching. Yeah. I get the idea, but there you're really reaching. Back in 86, 87, you know, can probably start to fool us, but not in the early 2000s. So much money for a ticket to see bad wrestling. Yep. Hello, Scott, and welcome. Appreciate you being on with us tonight. A good friend of mine from the state of North Carolina, Flair Country, Jim Crockett Promotions Country. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like Wes, I'm sure Benny, I'm sure you can find a local promotion, you know, independent around where you live. There's two around me. There's a ESW. It's called Empire State Wrestling. And then there's Nickel City Wrestling. $15-20, 3 hours. And they really do put on a pretty good show. Even if you don't go and talk to a friend, if you just go for the wrestling, it's not bad for 3 hours.
I mean, I go to a lot of minor league baseball games. I won't go to see the Tampa Bay Rays. The last time I went, when Tropicana Field was still there, I paid $85 to see the Rays and the Yankees, and it was for a shitty seat. It wasn't remotely close to being a good seat. And then I wanted a beer, and it was $25. And I was walking around with my hands up, and security guard said, "Why are you holding your hands up?" I said, "Well, isn't that typically the custom when you get held up?" And he said, "What do you mean? $25 for a beer is robbery."
Yeah.
So $25. So I paid $110 for a ticket to see it was a good game, but that's ridiculous. I mean, I'll go to the park in Clearwater to see the Threshers, which is the Florida State League team for the Philadelphia Phillies. I paid $9, and I get myself a beer for like $9 or $10. sit out in the sun. Now you're not watching, high quality baseball, but they're still, talented kids.
All right. I mean, that's like here in Buffalo, the AAA team, the Buffalo Bisons, which are under your Toronto Blue Jays there, Wes, and they they actually won a couple of years over the past 20 some years. And then even Buffalo's lacrosse team, the Bandits, 3 years in a row reigning lacrosse champions, unlike our Sabres and Bills, but still outrageous to go see any of this. Even a concert that comes to Buffalo here for me. I can't even imagine how much that ticket price is. One, two, the parking I know is $20 to $30 around there. And then, you want a drink, Benny, or something? Forget about it.
Well, and it goes to the same argument. Like everybody says, Vince McMahon made the WWF bigger, but is bigger really better? Because, if back in the day you could go see wrestling whenever you wanted and really enjoyed it and you could afford it, how is the current situation better than that? I don't understand.
How is it better?
Right.
If you take the money, the $6 that I paid in 1980, and you whatever that multiplier is that you can do on your phone to today's money. Okay, so that $6 turns into even 35. Would you not pay 35 to see? Okay, even 50. So would you not pay $50 to see Ric Flair versus Jimmy Snuka? Like, of course you would. Even if it was in bad seats, of course you would, right? So it's kind of true that, like what you said, Manny, exactly. Is it any better? Like,
and the whole thing was they took it out of the bingo halls. What was wrong with the bingo halls? I mean, I went to see the Iron Sheik versus Billy Jack Haynes at Hagerstown High School in Hagerstown, Maryland. It was great. I didn't care that I wasn't in Madison Square Garden or the Baltimore Civic Center. I was watching wrestling, cool wrestling, and I got to see the guys real up close, and it didn't break my budget.
Yeah, but also a lot of it has to do now with the amount of house shows. WWE alone has just reduced the amount of house shows everywhere. So it's like you're either attending a big event where they're charging a large amount of money, or you're not attending at all, basically. Because when you think about it, there's not that many. They don't go as many days as they used to. I mean, it's good for the wrestlers themselves; they're not working as many days. But for the fans, it hurts the fans that would attend those shows specifically, like you said, Benny. You can go to your local, down in Tampa, and they'd have so many shows, and now they're all gone.
Well,
and then you think about the amount of promotions that are out there now. What is it now? WWE. You got TNA, which is ran by WWE, AEW, and then Ring of Honor, maybe.
Well, that's under the AEW banner, Ring of Honor, but
okay, but still,
we have NWA, Billy Corgan's NWA,
and NWA.
None of them are localized. You have they're trying to replicate the same thing. They're all trying to do nationwide. So, you live in Tampa now. You might get to see big league wrestling once a year, where you could back in the day you could go 52 weeks a year.
Yeah.
And if you had a little bit of gas in your car, instead of Tampa, you could go to Orlando or, one of the spot shows they did on the weekend. Or they did it like in Sarasota or something, something close by. So you could conceivably go to see a wrestling event back then, 75, 100 times a year. Now maybe you go once.
Yeah.
Right. Because even now, like say in Buffalo again, if the WWE comes or AEW comes, it comes for a taping, Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, and that's it. They're like Mike the Class just said, there is no more even one house show a year that comes to Buffalo that's not televised.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's crazy because the fans would like to go see it. I'm sure that more money they can make, but yeah. I mean, it's a lot different, of course, nowadays than it was back in the good old days, and that's another thing I want to get back to, Wes. Now, Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens, you went to a couple times, and that was awesome and great. Do you, like we're seeing now, okay, for an example, on YouTube, on the WWE Vault, is showing these house shows, if you will, call them, from the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, under the Georgia territory from '83. I wonder, is the WWE possibly sitting on some more house shows like under the NWA Maple Leaf banner, you think, or what?
They probably are, because they started showing all of the NWA in Toronto. Wasn't all Mid-Atlantic. Some of it was ours, like the guys, local guys. And then they did not every time they came to Toronto, like every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it was back in the early 80s, they would every maybe third time they come, they do a mini tour. So they would do 2 or 3 nights in a row in local cities. And they were taping, as far as I know, they were taping some matches then. So there should be a lot more Toronto / Mid-Atlantic on video or somewhere. Whoever's in charge of that, I can't fathom it, because I'm not a gigantic businessman, but like I couldn't imagine sitting with the size of my house full of videotapes and not going, holy shit, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What do I show today? Do I show this one? Do I show this one? Do I show this one? So are they planning like a little by little dribs and drabs, or it's bizarre to me. It's weird. It's really, really weird. It's like I say, I can't even fathom the thought process of having millions of hours of tapes.
Well, I mean, to kind of start this off, me, I love my DVD collection. I love it, right? But the WWE, they came out with the network finally. I thought, wow, this is great. This is going to be awesome. They updated often. They put everything on there. And then it went to pot over the years, and they went to 10 shows a month. And they're still sitting on a ton of stuff that nobody has ever seen. AWA, early Mid-South, Georgia, WWF championship shows from Madison Square Garden from 73 to 79 that were televised. Nobody has seen yet, but they're sitting on it. Philadelphia too. But like, we had our friends on from the Savoldi Wrestling Library, and $3.99 a month on your platforms, and then our friends, the Parsons with Wrestling Legends Network, on all platforms. They have the territories that the WWE don't own, and I'm excited to see that Amarillo footage that the Savoldis got from whatever Amarillo territory back then. And I don't know. We can talk about this day and night. I miss the old network. They had everything available. Yes, Jason.
Absolutely,
indeed.
Jason. Yes.
Yeah.
I make that comment under the WWE Vault on YouTube, and then somebody said to me, "Why do we, stop saying that we want to pay $10 a month again?" I'm sure I'm not the only one, like us, like Jason, that would pay $10 a month and call it the WWE Vault 24/7. You're putting it out on YouTube. Yeah. You're putting it out on YouTube for nothing. We'll gladly pay as long as you put it out for us fans.
Yeah, and keep it fresh and new with
yeah. Right. I mean, because there's so much out there.
That's a good point.
WWE doesn't want to show any of those old shows because it blows current production out of the way.
Got a point.
Yeah, I mean, but and thank you for that comment, and thank you for joining us. To us, we're all about classic wrestling, and we keep up on what's going on today. But yeah, nothing beats that old great glory days stuff. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, and us and everybody around this country and world love that classic footage. And hey, I don't know.
It's what keeps us going, because we love it so much. Chris, you're the video guy, and that's. I love when you put and the videos go by so fast, Chris. It's like,
yeah.
And I'm a clipping guy, so like I just signed up for an online paying newspaper subscription, and oh man, it's blowing my mind. I could stay up 24/7 just getting clippings and results from around the world. it's so exciting, and that's again that drives my wife crazy. But
my house is full of DVDs all over this.
yeah,
Mike
there you go.
DeClass can testify to that
Yeah.
because he's been here.
Oh yeah.
You know, but same thing. I mean, you know, our good friend, historian of not just the AWA but all the territories, Mr. George Shire. Can you imagine his special wrestling room he has there in Minnesota of all his programs from all the territories? I mean, like Benny, you mentioned last night on your show with Nikita, the doctor's house. He has a special
Dr. Franklin Miscavige, yeah.
that's like George Shire. I mean, you know, can you? I'd love to go there and just day and night check that footage.
Two,
You know,
two people I'd like to meet with would be Tom Burke and Dr. Bob Bryla.
now, Dr. Bob doesn't ring a bell. Can you?
He's in Utica, I think.
Oh, okay.
He's in your part of the woods.
I had him on Dan and Benny in the Ring several years ago. He's a really good guy.
Yeah, and Tom Burke, of course, is the god of wrestling history and collectors.
Yes, I've had him on the show. Great guy. He was actually part of the WFIA too. Yeah, I mean, there's so many great people out there, like we know that we've had on this show and part of our Hollywood Square show, Mr. Tony Richards and his Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel show. He does a great job with it.
Yeah.
And all of his guests. And the list goes on and on, right? But, and I don't know, we got away from our announcers, commentators, but Mid-South, Lloyd Pierce. Yes, Boyd Pierce, and most of the time Cowboy Bill Watts. But then it evolved to a young Jim Ross starting out there. And then World Class, of course, we had the announcer
Bill Mercer. But before Bill Mercer, it was Gene somebody. He was also with the Southwest Territory. And then they got Steve Stacks in Southwest. And then that went to Texas All-Star until 86. Another great territory, great matches each week. World Class, Bill Mercer, of course. Mark Lawrence. Yeah, I wasn't fussy on Mark Lawrence. It didn't do anything for me at all. Boring as far as I was concerned.
And then here we go. Wildman Wes. On the topic of Maple Leaf Wrestling, do you know if there's any footage exists? Champion versus champion matches like NWA, AWA from Toronto. We mentioned that. Thank you for the comment.
Yeah,
Bob Backlund. Can you imagine Wes watching Bob Backlund and Nick Bockwinkel go at it?
I had planned to go to that show because I hadn't seen Backlund yet, and everybody told me that either he was as boring as a paint drying or he was technically unbelievable. So I like Nick Bockwinkel, who doesn't, but something arose. Maybe it was a case of beer or something. I don't know. Didn't go. I don't think there's any footage of that stuff at all. Maybe 2 minutes of a news clip that the local TV station might have taken, but that's long gone too.
Yeah, I mean, when you go back and look at some of those cards through the years, and same thing, like I'm thinking about the Georgia, the Omni shows. And here's another one, guys. Now it doesn't come up that the show was televised. The February 1980 card from MSG had Austin Idol come up for a match. Tommy Rich did a match. Would love to see their MSG appearance, but I understand the card wasn't televised, but do they have footage of it?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
it was always neat to see someone that you thought you'd never see live come up to a show in your local area. I went to a show the first time Austin Idol came to Toronto, and that was just, cool to see Austin Idol, someone you'd seen in the magazines. And another one I went to once just to see was Mil Mascaras, just to say I saw him live. It didn't happen that often because Tunney didn't bring a lot of those kind of guys in. It was more of the just the Mid-Atlantic guys or just the Toronto guys. And but it was cool to see someone completely out of the picture like Mascaras.
And they had that big 50th anniversary card. I think it was 81. Yes, 81. When Andre fought Killer Khan, Race Flair. So they kind of had some both promotion guys on that card.
Yeah.
But, and then they sprinkled in Backlund versus Bob Orton Jr. in like 82 on a Toronto Maple Leaf card. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's any footage. I'd love to see it. Just as a fan, we need to stay on the WWE's toes and comment on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and demand this stuff from them, and so on and so forth. For us classic fans to get this and enjoy it. And Benny, Florida, of course, you talked about NWA, the Dean, Gordon Soley with the territory. But you also had Southeastern Alabama and around there, Pensacola. And that was, can't think of his name right now.
Fuller.
The announcer.
Fuller promotion, yeah.
Gordon did, when it turned in from Southeastern to Continental Championship, Gordon was 85 to 87, 88. And then it was USA Championship 88 of that territory, and then that was 89 went into Continental Wrestling Federation, and then that was the end of that. But
that was Wildcat Wendell Cooley big in Southeastern back then?
Yes,
okay.
He was also in World Class. He was also in Southwest, big in the Southwest promotion.
Yeah, the Corpus Christi and
Razor
Bowden, yeah.
Razor Bowden, yes, the announcer from Mid-South Wrestling. He did the ring announcing in the ring, yes, and some interviews backstage, yes. He was good.
One of the funniest things I've ever seen is when the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express, rather, had won the Mid-South Tag Team titles, and Cornette was there. They're having a celebration, and Cornette was cutting a cake, and the Rock and Roll Express kind of smushed. And then the next week, I guess, was was that later that show when Cornette came out and confronted Bill Watts, and Bill Watts slapped him. And you talk about selling a shot. I thought Cornette did like a 720, and he literally crawled away. I mean, like the way they probably sold a month's worth of tickets just with that alone.
And that was in you talk about that was Mid-South was in the McIrish or something boys center, or like a
where they did their tapings,
like a YMCA type of building.
McNeil Boys Center or something like that. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, I mean, and then a lot of the other promotions started in the studio. Like Amarillo had a studio show. Georgia, of course, WTBS.
Memphis had a great studio show.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like Lance. Lance is pretty good.
Lance Russell, Dave Brown, yes. And I guess we're going to have on in a couple weeks. Guys, stay tuned to Mr. Michael St. John.
The Irish McNeil, it actually was.
Yeah, there we go.
Irish. And Mr. Michael St. John will join us live on Thursday night, September 18th. He was a former, he was in Georgia in 83. He was on Memphis. He was on USWA, GWF. So we can't wait to have him on here and reminisce with him and ask him some questions. But guys, yes, the LA territory. Gene LaBelle ran. It was wrestling at the Olympic. That Olympic auditorium, that was great to see on TV, and the size of that ring was huge with the extra apron, like Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens did have before.
Jimmy Lennon was the celebrated ring announcer.
Jimmy Lennon ring announcer. Yes. San Francisco, I can't think of the guy's name, but the San Francisco territory, that was in a studio.
Hank something.
Yes.
Way back in the day, Walt Harris was the commentator in NWA San Francisco. Walt Harris, if the name sounds familiar to everybody, he was the voice of roller derby for years.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that now.
Love classic roller derby. Yeah, the T-Birds against the
Was it San Francisco Bay Bombers versus the Midwest Pioneers?
That footage, that is just great to go back and reminisce and check that out. Wow.
Wrestling on wheels.
What did you think about, and this bothered me when I was a lot younger, I didn't know as much. What did you think about when you saw interviews and the interviewer was bigger than the wrestlers, like taller or whatever? What did it put you off? Did it make you think like that's kind of silly? Why don't they have a smaller guy to make them look bigger?
Absolutely right.
Like we mentioned the big cat Ernie Ladd down in the Houston promotion and Mid-South promotion. Now he was what, 6 something tall, over Gordon Soley, over
everyone.
Jack Reynolds, IWA, yeah.
It was always strange to me, although in Toronto when I was really young, we had Lord Layton. So I mean, he was 6'4", 6'5". Of course, he was bigger than everybody, but mostly everybody. It just some of the pictures you see of the pictures in the magazines you would have seen. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I see Jason there regarding rings. Which promotion had the largest ring? Was it WWF? Or did any other promotion have a 20-plus foot ring? That's a good question, Jason. We'll have Wes. I don't know. Do you know? I mean,
well, yeah, St. Louis for sure, and Toronto for sure. I'm not sure about the Madison Square Garden ring. What do you think about that, guys?
The Toronto, St. Louis, and Olympic Auditorium rings had extra apron round, but none of the other territories or rings that I know of did.
Because a lot of the places played to smaller halls, like the Portland TV is all in a really small place, so their ring is tiny. You know, a lot of the TV matches, the Montreal guys, Montreal Forum had a big ring for when Andre the Giant first started out. They had a half decent sized ring, but they showed a lot of the main events or parts of it on the TV show, but there was no actual show that was all, it was mostly TV matches, studio matches, but some of the rings were so small. The Detroit TV matches were, it was a tiny ring. It looked like it was 8x8. And
wow.
I think George Shire would agree that some of the AWA rings were rather small too, but they were in a TV studio, so they only had so much room, right?
Yeah.
Right. Or they of course obviously made it look bigger, but maybe to me the ring was bigger in the studio watching AWA than it looked like when it was in St. Paul Civic Center. Or Winnipeg actually had a pretty cool ring set up in different ropes from time to time.
I think some of these places had a ring that stayed in the building. It didn't go anywhere. I know Toronto's ring didn't go anywhere because they had to build the ramp up like every time they put a show on, right? So in Ontario, I know a lot of the older arenas that would probably seat maybe 1,000 to 2,000 people, they had their own ring. Whipper Watson, he knew a lot of these guys, and he set them up set them up as an agent, and they had a ring in there. And if they only had wrestling 3 or 4 or 5 times a year, they had a ring. They didn't have to tote it around, because it was always a problem getting a ring everywhere that they wanted a spot show.
Setting it up. And then real quick, another topic, of course, when we talk about rings. Thank you, Jason, for the question. It kind of threw us off topic, but guys, I'm old school, and the steel cage, the steel mesh fence that we've seen in Madison Square Garden back in the 80s, Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens, when you see Angelo King Kong Mosca against the Iron Sheik for the Canadian title, those were classic steel cage matches, and the steel cage match that I love, not that blue thing that the WWF tried in '86 and so on. Do you guys agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the mesh. I never understood the whole blue. Yeah. I call it contraption over the ring.
Was that the
But,
one where the holes were about this big?
yeah. The big squares.
Big
This
square.
And Benny, I'm sure you agree with us. The old
Oh yeah, and those matches, they really meant something. You knew that you were going to see somebody bleed like a stuck pig. I mean, it's pretty much a guarantee.
Yeah.
Right. Whether it was the heel or the face.
Right. Or both.
Yeah. Or both.
Or both. Yes, exactly.
The famous cage from California that quote Blassie built, and it looked like, I think it was let down from the rafters because there was always guide wires on the top of it in the pictures. And although it was a cool looking cage, it wasn't what here we considered a cage match, whereas the guys carried the sections out and tied them up to the ring posts and everything. And
right.
We were lucky here in Ontario that the Wild Men basically had a cage match every end of the three run match. Like it was the Sheik and Louis Martinez, and then it was a no DQ match, and then because it wasn't solved, it was a cage match, and the guys would carry it out, and everyone was so excited because he knew what was coming. Right, it was going to be a couple of gushers for sure, and always exciting. Who doesn't love a cage match?
Yeah, and we see far and few between nowadays of any of these promotions, which is sad. A lot of things are missing that are sad. Well, guys, though, Benny, if you could please put up my ECMC still pick.
Give me one moment here. It's going to take a minute.
There we go. Each and every week, we will mention here on this show to help our friend, Mrs. Robin Restaino, get a kidney that she is desperately needing. ECMC transplant local is in Western New York near Buffalo. Phone number is 716-898-5001. Blood types are A negative, A positive, and O. And if anybody's out there to help our friend get a kidney, we would greatly appreciate it. Second, Benny and Mike, why don't you tell our independent wrestler of the week, please?
Sure. This week's indie wrestler of the week is Brittany Brooks. She is the current FSW, AWF, and Dreamway Women's Champion. She recently just won the FSW Championship. But she's also been featured on the WFIA newsletter recently within the last couple of weeks. So a rising star, definitely, in the indie circuit.
Not so bad to look at either. Wow.
Nice smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looks young, and hopefully a lot of years in the business. Good luck to her. A lot of these indie people have a bright future. And guys, our military salute of the week, salute to service.
Sure. This week's salute to service is to Ken Kennedy, also known as Ken Anderson or Mr. Kennedy. He was in the U.S. Army. He had a pretty good career of about maybe 8 or 9 years, almost 10 years, mainly in the WWE, but he also was in TNA. Also, he was TNA champion. So, our salute to service is to Mr. Kennedy, Ken Anderson.
Awesome. And Benny, my PSA of the week, please, is 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Anything, don't be afraid out there, men, women, to reach out to 988. It does help you. They will stay on the phone with you as long as it takes. They also have gotten local people, local help if they need it. And it's just a great tool out there to help people with their mental health. And we should not be ashamed of it.
Absolutely not.
And before we wrap up here, guys, again, we are supposed to have Princess Victoria, but hopefully we'll see her in the weeks to come. And next week we will have Mr. Mike Messier join us. And again, Thursday, September 18th, Mr. Former announcer, Mr. Michael St. John will join us. And Wes, we always greatly appreciate you joining us here.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure coming in. A free-form show is not a bad thing. That's all I can say.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
We live and eat, live and sleep classic pro wrestling, right?
Yeah.
This was like four guys at Buffalo Wild Wings drinking beer and talking about the old days, you know, just all remote.
Yeah.
Right, indeed.
Right.
Well, of course, Wes, of course, we thank you and appreciate your time tonight. And of course, we will always have you back in the near future, especially for a Hollywood Square show. And guys, thank you to everybody out there. We appreciate it. Please watch, like, and subscribe the Player Entertainment Network on YouTube. And we'll see you next week. Thank you. Benny, take us out of here.
Good night, guys.
All right. Good night, everyone.